A while back we had a trash day here in my little town of Geneva, and you won't believe some of the stuff that people throw away. In that trash was this fan, and there's not really much wrong with it, but there is something wrong with it, and you're not going to believe what I found with this fan. Have you ever had a dog chew on a cord and chew it in two, or a cat or any kind of an animal? Well, that's what happened to this fan right here. When I looked at it, all I saw was that this cord was ripped off. It looks like something chewed it. And today I'm going to show you in easy steps how to repair this fan into good working condition. But watch to the end, because I'm going to share a little secret with you what I do with fans like this to bring them back to life. Before I get started, I'm going to share with you a couple of outlets that you can purchase at about any hardware store. One common one is this orange one like this. It's got a hole here. It's got a little screw on top that you can take out. It allows you to pull the insides out, put the cord through it, and attach to some screws that are attached here. This one was missing some screws, that's why I got it here. It's not complete, but it takes a little bit of effort to do this, but it still makes a good cord repair. But that's not what I'm going to use on this fan. Another type is this type right here. This one actually has a flat prong on it, but they make it for regulars also. And what you do is you take this apart here, you pull 3 screws out here in the center, this whole works comes out. You would use something like this on a construction cord or something that is substantial. But for this fan that's behind me, that isn't what we're going to use. And what we're going to use is something like this right here. Now this is a real simple thing to use, and I want to show you how I do that. The first thing you want to do is squeeze these right here, and that should come right apart, just like that. One of the first things I do is I examine the cord to make sure there's no nicks in it other than what I found here on the end. And by looking at that, I see no nicks. Now with this particular plug, it's really simple how you do this, and I'm going to show you. First thing you want to do is cut the cord back to where you know it has not been damaged, and I see some chew marks right here, up here, so I'm going to cut it right here, and that should be perfect. All you do is you cut it straight off. You don't have to worry about getting wires out or nothing with this plug. The next thing you do is you shove this inside this right here. Now this is going in a little harder than what I anticipated. The cord's a little bit bigger, and it's a little bit too big for this. So we are going to have to get a little bit different plug for this cord here. This one, the concept is, and I want to show you here, is you would take this cord, slide it in this hole right here, and it would come out through here. And a lot of cords aren't quite this heavy, but this end right here, you can see that it has an opening, and when you pull these back, just like that right there, you see them 2 little pins in each side. Now this is a replacement that anybody can do. So what you do is you shove that cord up in there, like that right there. If it was going to go in, you would squeeze these triggers down, or these plug-ins, and it pokes holes into the cord, and then you just shove it back in there and your cord's fixed. Now, this cord's a little bit too big for this, but I'm going to go ahead and get a utility knife and trim this down a little bit so I can at least show you how that would work. But I really need the next size bigger, and they do make them. Okay, I have this cord prepped and I have this prepped. What I did was just make this opening a little bit bigger, this opening just a little bit bigger, and mostly just trim down the edge of this cord. Like I said, they make a replacement end that would fit this cord. I didn't have one here, but I want to show you how you do it if you did have one. One of the things you need to remember, these ends come with where one side is thinner or not as wide as the other side, and you should get the cord placed on so that it's on the right side. Now in these cords, you'll notice that one end of the cord is smooth and the other end of the cord has ripples. Now what I like to do is take a marker and I mark the side that has the ripples, and that's this side right here. And that happens to be the side that goes on the fat end. So I'll mark the fat end here, like that, so I don't get it mixed up. And what I do is I take this, I put that in there like that, just slip it in, goes in very easily if you got the right size. Then you take this right here, and you just slip that into that end. Anybody can do this. And you push it in till it bottoms out right here. And then all you have to do is take these two prongs and push down on them very tightly. And what that does is those little prongs or punchers that are on each side of these punch into the cord, making contact. Now, I have not tested this fan, and I'm assuming that the only thing wrong other than a good cleaning and the back coming off is all that's wrong with this fan. So then once you get it to this point, all you need to do is push that down in there. You may have to put this on something hard to push. I have a piece of steel or anything on a hard surface, and I'll bring you down so you can see what I'm doing, is like this right here. I'll just push that right in there, and see that goes right in, and it's nice, and see that's nice and tight, won't come loose. Now make sure this fan is shut off, and we're going to plug it in and see if it operates. I have this plugged in. You can see that this side's fatter than that side, so it'll only go in one way. And now let's see if this actually works. Look at that. There's not a thing wrong with this fan. And it actually slows down and speeds up. Now the only thing we have to do to this fan is just clean it up and reattach the back to that. Now, I told you that I wanted to show you something right at the end, or share something right at the end. The little extra that I wanted to share with you is I want to tell you how I clean these fans up. You're going to laugh at me. You're going to say that's stupid. Doesn't work, but it works for me. So let me show you what I do. The first thing I do is I have a product that I use. It's called Boss. If I think about it, I'll put a description in the links down. Well, I'll put a link in my description down below so that you can see this if you want to go buy it. But I found this stuff to work really well for degreasing and cleaning. What I do is I have a small bottle here that I pour some in. I put that kind of on the misty side, and I just saturate this fan totally with this Boss product. And the thing with this is, once you do this and you get it this wet, you want to let it set for several days before you try plugging it in or putting it in front of something that would actually dry it up, because we are going to get moisture in on some of the electrical components, and typically that isn't a good thing, but it works for me. And what I do then is I take a sprayer like this and I just spray the heck out of it. And I just spray this thing really good. You can see the dirt just pouring off of that thing. If it's winter out, and ideally would be to do this when it's not winter, because this is messy. If it's winter where you are and you want to clean your fans, get them ready for spring, do it in the bathtub. Use a rag if you need to, but you take a rag and you can wipe that, and it just takes that dirt right off of there. That Boss works wonders with cleaning, and you can see that. Now, like I said, and I warn in a disclaimer, now we're getting the electrical components on this very wet. Whatever you do, do not plug this in until that has thoroughly dried. Because if you plug it in, you're going to blow a breaker. You can see that's really cleaning up nicely. Saving something like this from the trash is saving 20 bucks. Now you saw I was pointing this out right here. Once I get this cleaned and it's dried, I'm going to take some special glue that I have and I'm going to glue that. I'm going to let it set a few days and then I'm going to put it back together. And this fan's going to see a lot of days yet of use. It was literally in the trash. I kid you not, it was in the trash. Well, there you have it. There's the fan all cleaned up. It's already started to dry out nicely. I'll wait a couple of days and we'll go ahead and put the juice to it, and I guarantee the thing's going to run just fine. You didn't really think I was going to let you go without you hearing this fan run after it dried off, did you? Well, here you go. Let's turn that thing on. Is it plugged in? Yep, I got her plugged in. Listen to that baby go. And you thought I was crazy for spraying it with water. Medium. Low. High. Fan works just fine. Now, as far as the glue job I did, you won't be able to see it from there, but I did glue this, and I want to show you the product that I used. Another little tip that you may not know when it comes to repairs like this. So what do I use when I make plastic repairs like that in the household, shop, wherever? We've all heard of super glue, correct? Well, that's what I use, but something special about the brand that I use, and I want to show it to you. But before I do, I want to point this out. Have you ever had the frustration of opening a new tube of super glue, using a little bit out of it, setting it to the side and then going back, and it's hard as a rock, or you can't get it out of the spout? It's junk because it got hard on you. Well, they came out with a product, and it's called Future Glue, like super glue. And what it is individual packets, little tiny packets of glue with new spouts for each one. Now this is what I use in my shop. And if I tape up that spout, and if it's not too long, I can reuse it if I don't even use the whole thing. But the point of this is, this costs a little bit more, but you waste so much less. And this is what I use. This is the liquid. They got one that's got kind of a green package, that's the gel. Now, I'm going to put a description of this along with a link in my description pointing you to this where you can buy it. I know that Do It Best Hardware's handle it, but Amazon probably does also. So there's what I use to repair plastic, small plastic pieces in my shop. I hope you like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you like what I brought. If you like videos like this, you don't want to miss the one where I show you how to sharpen a utility knife. If you want to see that video, you can see that right here. You won't want to miss it. I come to you and I ask, can it be fixed? Sure it can. Can you fix it? You're darn right you can fix it. Let's go.